Hey, how you doing? I'm SUPER Sid.
And I'm Tiffany Toombs.
And welcome to the Life Coach Launch School Show. Here at the Life Coach Launch Show, we aim to show everybody that listens and that watches to this show how to heal and how they can go out there and heal themselves each and every day. Each week, we will be bringing you brand new episodes of the Life Coach Launch School Show to help you with different concepts and ways that you can go out and lose stress, that you can go out and be more happy and ultimately help heal yourself, right, holistically through natural means.
Gandhi said that we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And people don't realize just how much of an impact their own healing has on this world. So I want you to think of dropping a stone into a pond or into a lake for a second and imagine those ripples that come out. What most people don't realize is that you're the stone. And when you drop into that pond, which is your healing, the first ring of your ripple impacts the 300 people immediately in your community and in your environment. The second ring is 90,000 people, and the third ring is 27 million. That's how much of an impact your healing has on this world. And so don't take for granted how healing yourself can absolutely have an impact on those around you.
27 million?
So everybody on average, now these are pre-social media numbers, but everybody on average knows approximately 300 people by name. And so if I impact you, if I have an impact on your life in some way, I don't just impact you, but I impact the 300 people that you know by name. And then those 300 people have an impact on the 300 people that each of those 300 people know. And so we don't really have to change a lot of people. We don't have to heal every single person in the entire world. We just have to heal a couple people. In fact, there's another concept called the Maharishi Effect. And what this says is that if you were to take 100 people in a city of 1 million and have them meditate on love, you would change the energetic vibration of the 1 million people in that city by just having 100 people sit down and meditate on love. And I might actually have those numbers wrong. I'll have to double check them. It might be 10, but I'm pretty sure it's 100. But that's the Maharishi Effect. So we don't have to heal each and every single person in this world. We can start with ourselves, and that effect will ripple outwards.
That's a lot of people. A whole lot of people. Wow. But like Tiff said, it all starts with one. And that one person that we heal is usually ourselves. Because just like Tiffany talks about in regards to going out there and becoming the best person and what this show is all about and everything we're about, which is creating less assholes in the world, ultimately, right, we want to go out there and heal the world and help the world become a better place. Where does that start? Well, we believe that starts with ourselves. So Tiffany, what is healing exactly? Like when I first met you, you brought up this old idea of I could feel better by doing these things. I just went to the doctor my entire life, taking the pills that they had told me to take, ultimately just kind of done whatever the doctor said, and then before that kind of just did whatever my parents said. What exactly is healing, and can it actually be done by anybody?
Absolutely. So anybody has the capability of changing. In fact, what most people don't realize is that our body is so incredibly powerful. Did you know that all these AI robots that they're creating, they cannot mimic, they cannot figure out the exact sequence of events that causes humans to walk. And so that's why robots are always going to look like robots. They haven't really been able to figure out how to exactly mimic the human mind and the human body. When we put the human body in the right conditions, when we take it back to its most natural state, not normal state in today's world, but its most natural state, the body is actually capable of healing itself. So when we start to release trauma and the emotional baggage that's built up over our life, when we start to heal our gut and get our body systems working effectively, the change that can happen in the world, in our body, in our life is amazing. I've worked with thousands of people across the world, and I am always blown away still to this day at how things affect them. I have clients reaching out to me who are like, I haven't changed anything about my diet and exercise, and the weight is just falling off. It's just disappearing. I've had people heal themselves or see significant improvements in conditions like cancer, liver disease, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's disease, type 2 diabetes, anxiety, depression, bipolar, borderline personality disorder. I had one client whose heart murmurs completely disappeared. The doctors have no idea how that happened, but they disappeared. And this is what happens when we take the steps that we need to put the body in the most optimal condition. So to answer your question, what is healing? For me, it's about bringing the body back to that natural state. It's about stripping away all the things that this quote unquote matrix has told us that we have to be, and becoming that free and sovereign individual that has the ability to heal ourselves just by being.
Dang. That was a lot. But let's break this down for a second. So I think a lot of people are going to sit here and they're going to say healed, or they're going to say healing, or they're going to maybe hear that they can, be healed. When someone, I think one of the biggest things that I struggled with when I first met you was I never really understood the term. What exactly is healed? What exactly is feeling better? Because I would go out and do this stuff, or do the things that you would talk about, or anybody would talk about, and it was just me in front of the mirror doing stuff with no emotion and like no real progress, or at least I wouldn't see progress. What would you say that someone needs to look for, or what would you say is the best way to start this process? Because I think it's, especially when you're by yourself. I was by myself. Yeah, I had you later on, but when I was by myself, it wasn't the easiest stuff because I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was measuring. So my question to you on that is, where would someone start?
Yeah, so I want to touch on the first point that you made of like, what's the end outcome that we're ultimately looking for? And there are different phases to our healing journey. I don't believe that we are ever kind of fully healed in this life. I think every life that we go to, right, in the entrepreneur world, they say every level there's a new devil. And every level that we go up in our life is going to create a new set of challenges that we have to work our way through. That being said, the end outcome, I'll give you an example. I had a client call me a couple years ago and they said, how do I stop the ebbs and flows of life? How do I stop having these like massive dips and then ups and then dips? Ebbs and flows are part of life. And what we're ultimately aiming to do with the healing journey is to build a better surfboard so that instead of it feeling like we're riding this massive tsunami tidal wave in our life, it feels like we're just riding these gentle rolling waves, having a good day at the beach. And so it's about feeling a state of self-acceptance and self-love. Healing is not about being a different version of you or a better version of you. It's about accepting and loving the pieces of you that you want to hide away. When you do that, nobody has any power over you. It's about not being triggered by your external circumstances and knowing that you can have a state of happiness, calm, peace anytime you want, regardless of what's happening in the outside world, because your inner world is the only thing that we can control. So that's ultimately where we're going. Now, where should we start? The place that I start most people, and I find a lot of people like you, you had started into some pretty heavy shadow work, you were doing some mirror work, you were doing some more advanced techniques when I met you. And I think the reason that you weren't really getting the progress that you wanted is because your nervous system was in a state of survival mode.
So what is the nervous system?
So your nervous system is your brain, your spinal cord, all the nerves that go out through your body.
And what does that technically affect?
Everything.
When you say everything, can you break that down? Why is it everything?
Well, it impacts everything because your nerves connect to every muscle, it connects to every organ in the body. And so when you have adverse experiences in your childhood, what happens is your nervous system goes into this state of fight or flight. It attempts to keep you safe and help you survive anything that's going to happen in the future by remembering this one incident that happened where you didn't feel safe or you felt like the proverbial bear was chasing you.
Not to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but just so that everybody that's watching this, can you just explain what a fight or flight response is?
Yeah, so fight or flight is the most common terms, but there's actually 4 responses. There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And so this is When we're in a period of stress, as our stress rises, we move through these 4 phases. So phase number 1 is fight. This is where we rise up and we're going to confront whatever the challenge is, right? We're going to fight the bear. This is where people become aggressive, confrontational. They might come across as cocky, or they just might be very abrasive if they're constantly in a state of fight. As our agitation or our stress levels rise in the body, then we go into flight. All of a sudden, the body's like, we cannot fight off this bear. This bear is more powerful than us. We need to run away. Now, that can happen physically, like people get out of there, or it could be mentally. We see a lot of people who've had issues in their childhood and things like that. They'll just mentally go somewhere else, but their body is still physically there. So it's a process called dissociation. They'll mentally leave their body. They'll go into a brain fog. They'll go daydream, whatever it is. They'll get distracted, but that's the mental flight. Then we go up a little bit higher and we have the freeze and the fawn effect. So the freeze is where you become paralyzed. This is actually what procrastination is for people who are always in a state of overwhelm, is their nervous system freezes, they feel paralyzed, they can't do anything. And then fawn is more of like a people-pleasing type behavior. Who do I have to be in this moment to be safe? So if I play dead for this bear, will the bear still kill me? Or if I, pretend that I like smoking to fit in with this group of kids or this group of people, will I be accepted and therefore safe? And so most people live their life in a state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. They're there every single day because their stress levels are so high. Now their nervous system is stuck in survival mode. It's almost like you're driving a manual car and your car is stuck in one gear and you can't get it out, right? It's stuck in first gear. You're trying to drive faster because the speed limit is 75 or 65 or whatever on the highway, but you're stuck in first gear. And so it's putting a lot of stress on the vehicle. And so the first place that I recommend people start in their healing journey is to actually start healing the nervous system. It is so much harder to do inner child work, to do shadow work, to do energy work, whatever kind of healing that you want to do. It is profoundly harder to do that with the nervous system that's stuck in survival mode, because your nervous system won't let you fully access your unconscious mind to let go of what you need to let go of. So healing the nervous system is always the first step.
So you had talked about the nervous system and we went over quite a bit of details there. Now let's just kind of break this down. If you have a bad nervous system, what is it? And then ultimately, what are we aiming to get to in the nervous system? And then really just what would you say to start doing to start getting that?
So the bad nervous system, or the nervous system that's stuck in survival mode, what you're going to experience is you're going to be tired a lot, going to have no motivation, probably procrastinating, overthinking things, having those intrusive thoughts coming in, telling you why something won't work, it's not realistic, you're not good enough, etc., etc. Panic, anxiety, overwhelm, those are probably emotions that you feel quite often. The good nervous system, or the non-survival nervous system, the one that is in a place where you can thrive, that's where you're going to be able to take action towards your goals. You're going to feel a state of gratitude. You're going to be able to feel joy and calm and peace any moment of the day just by tapping into those feelings. And most importantly, you're actually going to be able to achieve your goals here.
Ooh, I'm feeling kind of sparky right now. Okay, so what do we do? If this is where we need to start, what do we need to do?
So I've put together the 7 exercises that I give all of my private clients when they start working with me to heal the nervous system. It's called the 7-Day Nervous System Reset. And doing these exercises every day, they'll take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes, and they will have a profound effect very, very quickly on your nervous system.
Well, that nervous system reset, I think you can find that not only on our page, but also down there in that description. Isn't that true?
And this link right here.
Oh, that one,
right there.
that link. I knew there was something down there. All right. So as you've heard today, this show is all built around helping people heal. And we believe that has to do with the nervous system. So we talked to you today about that nervous system, talked to you a little bit about this show, when you're going to be able to catch this show, and ultimately, if you liked it, make sure to click that subscribe button down there below. Like this video so more people can see it. And don't forget, right? Let's dare to heal so we can dare to lead, and ultimately dare to make massive impact. Thanks for coming to the Life Coach Launch School show. We'll see you next time.